It's just like the I'm not looking for anything serious. Well, I'm a verse top side, or I'm a side bottom, or side salad. I don't know. What exactly is a side? A side is a guy who wants to hook up but not include penetration. Not today, Picasso. Is there a connection with a fear of STIs? Or seeing as dirty? The guys that I've met up to bottom for, they wanted me to top them. And the guys that I met up to top, they also wanted me to top them. It's really hard finding someone verse. Why are they so prominent now on the apps? I want to give you my theory on why that is. Then we're going to search Google and find out if I'm right, if there's any truth to it. And we're going to try to cover this from all angles, from the top and the bottom. It's still too much work to be getting prepared for a bottom session with someone, for them either to flake or to not be good, for it to leave you sore and out of commission for a few days, for a few minutes of a rabbit fuck with somebody that you don't know and you probably won't see again. But I think it all comes back to trust. Until I can get there to trust you, this is what I feel comfortable with doing. See, side play does not require one to douche, as I like to call it, but you actually should just be using an enema. Never mind. This is not an educational video. But for starters, let's stick with trust. I don't trust you. You may have something. Your my chart could be outdated. It could be fake. It could be someone else's. I don't trust you to, one, go all the way there with penetration. Let's just go with that, right? So I feel more comfortable hooking up with you with side play. That could be both of us tugging one another, but there's usually oral involved. And even with that, there's still a subgroup of a side that only does front oral. I'm not gonna eat you. I don't trust that you showered well enough. I don't trust that that's a razor bump. They'd be comfortable, with sucking dick, but they're not really trying to eat it. If you're somebody that requires that, if you require foreplay to actually have penetration, some guys that will eat any and everything, they are adventurous eaters. That would make me skeptical. I'm sure that makes other people skeptical, because if you are willing to gobble up my kids and you just met me, that's sketchy. But I'm not going to sit here and act like a prude. Risky behavior hasn't always been something that piques men's curiosity. It's the same reason why monogamous men cheat, especially with someone they work with at their workplace or even in their own house. It's the risk, the thrill of being caught. Some guys don't even care that much about their sexual health, and they don't go to the doctor regularly. I think that could full stop explain why there's a rise in side play. It's that once we start dating and getting to know each other, because also we do that backwards, but do what works for you. But we are physical beings, and a lot of us want to try out the merchandise before we commit. As I've admitted here on this channel before, that I'm very shallow in a lot of ways, and it can be off-putting to some people, but I also don't really give a shit what anybody else thinks about me or my views on shit. I need to test out the merchandise before I want to marry you, before I want to date you. There are some ugly body parts out there. And if what's attached to you is ugly, I don't want nothing to do with it. I mean, shallow, like real picky. Like if you have ugly fingers, no. Ugly feet, no. So say if I was like you or anybody else that, wants to date and wait until marriage, or I'm saving myself, until the right guy comes along, but his parts look all bumpy and chewed on. See, for me, he just wouldn't be the right guy. And I have wasted his time and mine. So yeah, I'm a try before you buy type of guy. If you're a bottom, you have to clean and prepare and watch what you eat. It's a lot more work, especially for the trade-off of what you're getting. A lot of guys have addictions and they are only able to demonstrate what they've seen on screen, if you will. And so if you're not that experienced, whether it be with a person's size or the roughness and the aggression that can come from a lot of guys that watch that type of material, that's the type of performance they're expecting with somebody they meet with. That you're not gonna have my stuff all rearranged. I think the position of a side is this new way of saying, let's take things slow, but I still want to engage with you sexually. And that's even if you have repeats. Because guys view others as disposable, they can just discard you. It's less of a soul tie if I haven't let you penetrate me, and vice versa. It's less of an attachment and feelings when you don't return my phone call, or when you leave and you block me as soon as you leave. A lot of guys on the apps participate in raw sex just because they're on PrEP, as if there's not other STIs to be worried about. And so in this time of unsafe sex is the sex that's being promoted and that's being pushed. And I don't even say it's being pushed because you have PrEP and you have doxy PrEP. The reality is that you had condoms, people weren't using them. So since people aren't going to use them, let's give them medication that will prevent them from contracting HIV. And that's the main thing that we're worried about. If you're a bottom, you don't want to be pounded some of you might want to be pounded, but ultimately you want to feel safe and confident with the person that you're hooking up with. Maybe on the first time, you're not going to do certain things that you would do the next time. And that's even to say if there is a next time, but at least you protected yourself. If the person is a loser, an asshole, or they gave you some type of STD that you can't get cured from. And as a top, you're probably more to side with someone until you get to know that bottom's hygiene, because you've had a bad experience to where you've been painted. You said, not today, Picasso, or, or. As a top, you could, ultimately, you're just not trying to do everything with everybody. It's just like the I'm not looking for anything serious. Except this is sexually, it's I'm a side. Because even with that, the sides are like, oh, well, I'm a verse top side, or I'm a side bottom, or you a fucking side salad. I don't know. It's a placeholder until I get to see you in person, until I get to feel your vibe, know how clean or how dirty you are, and to see if it's a match. So now let's see what Google says. Google, tell me, what is a side? What is a side? And not where I can find one, but tops, bottoms, and sides. Why are sides becoming more common? Shit, that's so funny because I don't even see y'all on the apps like that for real, for real. I completely just left out verse. I forgot that versatile was a thing. In my experience, the guys that I've met up to bottom for, they wanted me to top them. And the guys that I met up to top, they also wanted me to top them. It's really hard finding someone verse. So I completely forgot that it existed. Every time I see it, even like my mind has just filtered it out to where when I would see it on the apps, I went by what the pictures gave me because all they showing is the ass shots. But you're talking about, oh yeah, I'm verse. Yeah, I know you're not. Why is there a rise in the side position in gay hookup culture? One key driver behind the rise of side identity is the rejection of heteronormative constructs of sex. The notion that real sex must involve penetration. It allows space for men with erectile dysfunction, pain during anal sex, such as those with that word, or a personal preference to fully participate in sexual culture without shame. Some view them as immature, lazy, or even asexual. Others believe avoiding anal sex is a sign of internalized homophobia. Conversely, many sides argue that insisting penetration is essential to being gay reflects a phallicized toxic masculinity that limits sexual freedom. 35% of gay and bisexual men engage in penetration during sexual encounters, with 75% preferring non-penetrating acts. The label helps normalize a wider spectrum of desire. Yeah, this is more definition. I don't want the definition. I want to know, is there a connection with a fear of STIs or seeing anal sex as dirty? Yes, there is a connection between identifying as a side and both fear of STIs and perception of anal sex as dirty or unclean. Anal sex carries a higher risk of STI transmission, including HIV. Even with modern interventions like PrEP, anxiety about STIs still remains a factor. Concerns about cleanliness and fecal matter, smell, or a possibility of encountering feces, getting painted. See, I mentioned that. And not all sides avoid anal sex for these reasons. Yo, shit. I'm gonna have to pull this one up and we're gonna have to do a whole video on it. But I just saw something on Ask Gay Bros Over 30. And it was the question of why is there a rise in bottoms lately? And one of the top comments mentions, damn, I didn't even think about that. And I know so many, we're gonna say that for a different video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you later. Bye.
Talking spicy. Yeah.